Don't be late, got an 8-second ride that just won't wait. My spurs are turning and my hat's on tight. If I hang on, girl, we'll be dancing tonight. Well, you can tell by the way that I walk, I'm a little bow-legged, my mouth's full of jaw. Legs are shaky and my knees are weak. Dust me off, I'll try again next week. Rodeo is what I do if I hang on tight and make a buck or two. It's what I do. Let's ride.
Good evening and welcome to the legendary Gold Coast Hotel and Casino and National Finals Tonight. Brought to you in part by Devil's Cut, Jim Beam, Red Stag, Coors, Pendleton, Boot Barn, Cooper Tires, Ram Rodeo, Justin Boots, Prefer, Golden Tiger Liniment, the National Cowboy Museum, Good Ride, Wrangler, J.W. Brooks Hats, Montana Silversmiths, Pepsi, and Boyd Gaming. National Finals tonight with 8-time World Champion Bull Rider Donnie Gay, 8-time World Champion Cowboy Joe Beaver, and the men and women of the NFR. Sit back, relax, and enjoy National Finals tonight. And now, here's your host, award-winning television personality, Mr. Dan Miller.
Rodeo is what I do if I hang on tight and make a buck or two.
Hi, everyone. Welcome this evening to night number 2 of National Finals tonight. Is everybody in a good mood this evening, huh? We are so glad that you're here this evening to join us. And how many of you went to the rodeo tonight? Very many of you were actually there. Isn't it just the best? You're here at the best time of the year, and we're so glad to have you on behalf of Boyd Gaming. Welcome to the world-famous Gold Coast. We have people still coming in, and actually, I don't even have a clue who's back there yet. It's pretty hectic back there right now. But let's just get going with this thing, shall we? And let's bring out the stars of our show. In 1985, I got a phone call, and they said, could you fly to Dallas, Texas, and meet Donnie Gay? And I said, who? They said, Donnie Gay. Could you come and meet Donnie Gay? And I said, boy, I would love to do that. The 8-time world champion. Are you kidding? And I sat down and sat in a chair, and I just said, Donnie, how's it going? That's the last I've had to speak for 27 years. Would you welcome 8-time world champion Donnie Gay right here, my buddy.
All right, thank you.
How are you?
You know, familiarity breeds contempt, you can tell.
We've been together longer than I've been married. How about that, huh? You're my professional partner.
They're taking that to the Supreme Court. You know that, don't you?
Great rodeo tonight, Donnie.
Yes,
Let's bring out our. Did he get here? Did he show up?
Yeah.
Is he? Oh, good.
Are you kidding?
No, right in time. Huh? Well, I see Jenna, so that means he's got to be back there in the back. Yep. This is our other, the star of our show. And besides being a world champion, just like Donnie's just my best buddy. And this guy, they don't make better guys than this. Would you welcome 8-time world champion Joe Beaver right here. Joseph, the bag man.
There was doubt in his voice, wasn't there? He said, did he make it? That's doubt, Dan.
Perfect.
Doubt.
How are you? What are you giving away tonight again?
Money bags.
Anything I got.
Joe Beaver bags. They got your name right on there. Very good.
That's for all the money they can win at the Gold Coast if they gamble. You have to gamble to help the economy and pay our salaries.
And Joe and I keep a job, yeah.
Yeah, we need to work. Well, we don't
Joe,
want to
I'm
work.
going to start off with you this evening because somebody stopped me today.
What?
Yes, they were. I'm sorry, Don.
Got you on that one, didn't
Save
I?
the best till last. Yeah, somebody stopped me today, and they said, you know, Clay O'Brien Cooper is here 18 years since he has been here. He's in his 50s now. And somebody said, would you ask Joe Beaver, is he going to be competing? Is he going to be back at this national finals? And so they asked me that today, and I said, I'll ask him in front of everybody.
I'm going to say no, but I have a kid that lives with me a lot. And, you know, once I quit and walked away, I'm fine with it. You know, a lot of people don't. Donnie's told me in 2004, he said, don't quit till you know you're through. And so I came back in 2006 and made them again in both events. And, you know, had a great finals, won the all-around at the finals, and I was okay with it. I walked away then. I continued to, you had my hip worked on. Donnie said the next year, can you go? And I said, yeah, I want one more year. And in 2008, I had about 30,000, 40,000 won in both events, was in the top 5, and my brother-in-law got killed in a car wreck. So I felt like it was my job to go home. I had a nephew play football very well. He was quitting. He didn't want to mess with it. He kind of gave up. He lost his dad. So I went home, worked out with him, stayed with him 6 months, got him a college scholarship. He went on to play football. So I kind of knew I was done then because Donnie had told me, he talked about it, and he said, when you're done, your body will tell you. He said, don't fight it. And I did. I walked away then, and I was comfortable with it. But I've got a kid that lives with us a lot named Reno Gonzalez. That's probably one of the top 10 healers in the country right now as a kid. And I won $15,000 last winter and was kind of thinking about it, and I broke my leg, so I was off all year. But long story short, I would like maybe to give Reno a chance to make them. So if I can help him make them, or at least get him out there where he gets a really good partner, then I might make him one more time.
Perfect. Let's all step up this way, guys, so they can get a better shot.
You know what? I think they're going to have to put in the dictionary, but I.
But.
I love that.
Joe, what I want to tell you.
Dictionary, yeah.
Learn Bud I from Bud It.
It's better than Bud Head. For the rest of the night, I want to. If the rest of you during the evening have any questions that you would like to ask anybody on stage, let me tell you, you can text those to us at 702-LUCK-NFT. And it drives him nuts to give these numbers, but it's also 702-582-5638. So if you have any questions, you can send those up to us, and we'll do those during the show. Also, when you're going home, we are going out on YouTube this year. And I actually watched the show today that we did last night. Very good.
Can you find it on YouTube? Somebody text Donnie how to get on YouTube so he can see himself.
Low-tech redneck. And I have to tell you guys, I started out the day today. This was our Wyoming breakfast for all the Team Wyoming Cowboys today. This group over here.
They stayed for dinner.
They're fairly well intoxicated, but they're all from Wyoming, and we're darn glad to have them here. This is the Wyoming State Tourism Board that's here with us this evening. So we had about 400 people upstairs eating today, and all walks of life. We even had lots of dear ladies up there, and you know how you can tell the ladies.
I need to get the maps from Wyoming and stuff because Frontier Rodeo, the company
You're
that
coming
I run,
up this year.
We're coming up there. Yeah,
They're going to be
excited,
up there over the 4th of July.
Did I ruin something you were saying?
No, I was going to tell you we just had from young.
It wouldn't be the first time, would it, Dan?
No, it's a story of my life. We had. There was some dear sweet ladies up there in their walkers today, but I can tell from across the casino when the walkers are from Wyoming. And do you guys know how? You'll watch.
I don't know how.
There's holsters on them. Yeah. Wyoming is anyway. What I want to tell you this evening is if you went to the rodeo, then you didn't get a chance to see these two do what they do better than anybody in the world, and that's do the live call on GAC. So what we have done, yes, give them they're the best. They really are the best.
We think we are anyway, don't we, Donnie?
Well, we told him to say that, but you're doing good.
Yeah, I think Donnie wrote it down. Yeah, the best was it said. But in case you didn't see the television show, we're going to have them do it live for you. This was one of those nights where we had multiple winners, and guys, I've got it
I don't know
here.
how in the heck the judges get, you get to, it's okay to have a split, like we
But not with a half a point.
With a half point, how the hell you get
can't
three
get a split.
I agree. Unbelievable.
I agree.
Gosh, they're warmed up already. Anyway,
Judging 101, Donnie's got a course going
the
this
highlights of round number 2. Let's start off with the bareback and a tie, Donnie.
All right, well, this looks like, he's from Texas. Will Lowe, riding bipolar. Acts like Dan Miller sometimes, but you know what? This guy is getting after it. Both spurs back to the rigging. What a great bareback ride. And you just knew if he's healthy, this guy's going to start cashing checks. Little bitty guy, but look how he stays right upon his rigging, and he uses and helps that horse to buck the way he has
Strongest
his spurs.
he's looked in 2 years to you or not?
I guarantee you.
Yep.
It's better than 2 or 3, but you know what? Watch this. It doesn't get any better than Casey Field. He is rocking and rolling. He's trying to be a multiple-time world champion, as is Will Lowe, but that's why those guys are wearing the gold, because they ride like that. Watch the spurs. Now, what I like in the bareback ride, and you'll see a lot of guys get tilted away from their hand a little bit. He stays right down the line of the horse's back, both spurs coming up. You cannot ride one any better than that right there than Casey Field rode that horse right there.
Close to perfect.
Close to perfect.
Okay, Veronica likes it.
Veronica
Mom
likes
says,
it, yeah.
I like that. I like that win. Okay, the steer wrestling, Billy. Billy had a chance to win a gold buckle. Comes in, no good the first night. What do? Rebound, boom. One of the best runs made all night, of course, because he won the round. But the thing about it is, a good head catch sets up a good throw. And Billy, when he catches this steer, you can watch. This horse is gunner. He's strong. Luke's going to whirl on him. See how he catches that left horn and goes down with it? Before he ever hits the ground, he's got the left horn pushed down, left leg bent. He's got that steer on that hip waiting to throw. Bam, 3-6, wins the go-around. Team roping. Last night, terrible rodeo. Tonight, tough. Luke Brown sticks it on this one. Martin Lucero, one of the coolest guys heeling in the business. Now, the difference is, I want you to watch, when Luke throws and gets it on this steer, it's tight. In other words, this steer turns, he hops right off the bat. The difference maker, there was 2 more runs the same. Luke Brown's horse faced quick, and the rope is straight. When he's faced, he's tight on the rope. He gets a flag. They win the round 4 flat.
Saddle bronc riding was excellent except for the judging, but you can watch it and just decide for yourself. Court Shear, Nebraska bronc rider. Look at this. I love to watch the bronc riding. When these guys get tapped off with these bucking horses, you're not supposed to buck off in the saddle bronc riding, but the horses are getting stronger as you watch this going on. Court Shear makes a great ride, has a little trouble, but at the fence, I thought he messed up. Here we go. We're going to have Jake Wright. He's got Shasta, another good bronc ride. But, you know, they got the same score all the way around. Half the points for the horse, the other half for how well that cowboy rides that horse. And Wade Sundell, this kid does not look like he's from Iowa. I mean, he's got the Montana beard, and this guy,
Bauer stroke, don't he?
This guy is a cowboy, but look at him ride broncs. I mean, whenever he pitches that rein out there, sets his feet, it looks so stinking easy. It's not even
Can't
funny.
you see a half-point difference, Donnie? Because I can.
Absolutely, we'd have had it a little different.
Cliff Cooper, I said last year, they have not seen the ropiness Cooper yet. This is him, Cliff Cooper. He called me 2 weeks ago. He said, Joe B, what I got to change to win more? I said, you got to change using your rope flank strong. Look how quick he roped him. This calf comes off the ground. If you notice, he never bounced. He flanked him in midair. Therefore, he's got him strung when he hits the ground. Tough Cooper 7-5. He's celebrating. Guess what? Cliff comes in there and says, not quite yet. I'm 7-3, and I'm going to win the go-around tonight. All right,
how about Mary
Walker? Here's our girl.
We got 2 looks at this right here.
This is ugly. I'm telling you, this horse just goes and eats them up. The ugliest part of the whole thing is when they film Byron, her husband, in the stands because he about tears everybody up when he runs. She's coming Sunday night. She'll be right here with us unless she keeps winning go-arounds. Who knows, Donnie?
Well, she's going to come be on the show, but she has to go pick up the gold. But this horse doesn't really look like he's running. But whenever I'm waiting on the arena record, whenever if she makes a run without a bobble, not having to hold him off of that third one just like she did just then, it's going to be unreal.
He fell on her last June and just crushed her pelvis. Had to rebuild everything. She's done great.
It's a great story. If we can get her on, y'all want to be here. And the boy we had on our show last night, this Cody Whitney from Oklahoma, he doesn't have much hair, but he's got a lot of talent and can really ride. But the get-off left a little bit to be desired. But this kid...
Wait a minute, he said that's their job.
Well, he said that's the job of the bullfighters. They're supposed to go out there and, offer themselves to the bull to let me take my time and get up when I want to and get out of the way. So now we got a bullfighter back here that's going to come back in rebuttal, but this was an excellent bull ride, 89 points, and Cody Whitney said...
Could have been 92. Square hips, rode him jump for jump. I've heard you say it a million times.
Great rodeo.
If you don't ride him jump for jump, you don't get paid. Cody Whitney rode that bull jump for jump.
How about it? Doing it live. Good job, you guys. Outstanding. And Joe, let me do this because we have a question that's come in, and I don't know back there if you can pull up the tie down run again, but we can talk about somebody wants to know in the tie down roping.
The question is, it's what the black rope is that comes from the belt running down the rope. It's called a jerk line. You can measure the horse's pull going down the rope on the jerk line. It ties to the bottom of the bit. You take something, a bar, or you tie across the bottom of the bit so the rope doesn't come up under the bit. If a rope comes up underneath the bit, it pulls the horse forward. Then you tie your jerk line to it, and it runs back to the cantle of the saddle through a pulley, just a normal pulley. Okay? Then you tuck it in your belt, and you adjust how much pull you want. If you want a lot, you stack it across you, and you come high with a long pull. As you're running down the rope, it bumps the bit on the horse as it comes out of your belt, and it makes the horse keep tension on the rope. Now, if you have a horse that pulls a lot and wants to drag, the pulley will allow them, when it comes out of your belt the last time, to pull their head back and get relief, and they won't drag. an old-style ring that they used to use would hold one and make a horse continue to pull while you're tying, which is hard. It's like trying to shoot the 8-ball while the 8-ball's moving across the table. You know, it's got to be still. You got to work on your stuff. So that's what the jerk line does.
That's not what you told me when you put that thing around my neck at the letter buckle room at Pendleton. You were looking for some relief.
That's a different deal. I had to have some help.
Okay.
That was just an old party. Sometimes things don't go as they should during the course of the rodeo. And Joe and Donnie, I'm going to tell you, this is just a short thing, but Joe, you already know what I'm going to start this off with. We had a major power blowout here, and it's a credit to this whole crew that we have that we've got stuff for you. So I've put together, this is just a short rec thing, but it's going to start off with the steer wrestling and a couple of good looks at it, Joe. Yeah. So guys, if
Ethan Thuvenal, chance to win a gold buckle. Here's the deal. Number one, when you ride Jesse, which is a great bulldogging horse, he runs so fast, Ethan starts off a little late. Okay, in other words, he's a little late getting his hand over the steer's back. But watch his steer jump. He throws his head up and takes that horn and just takes the top of his head off, and then he pulls all his momentum and his weight up. If you try to catch a 700-pound steer in the air, right here, watch when he tries to catch him. This steer will just throw you away like nothing to it. See, first he hits you with the horn, then he snots in your face, and then he just throws you down and says you don't have a chance to win a gold buckle.
Well, you can do that in the bull riding, too. You're Cannon Ace, and you get in there, you ringing around their head like you're a hood ornament on a Ram truck. You know, this is no fun.
Was he hurt?
Wyoming,
He's all right.
Watch this. He doesn't know exactly. I talked to him. He's okay. But, you know, he spent a couple of days in the hospital and was okay. But, you know, he just gets whipped down, and that's just sometimes going to happen in the bull riding.
What's your favorite saying? It's hard to look cool when you're looking at him from the bottom side up.
When you're laying down there underneath him, boy, it is hard to look cool. I guarantee you that's the truth.
You can't have a psychedelic helmet help that, can you?
No, but he is okay. He's got ice here, and he spent a couple of days in the hospital with a blood infection, and his neck was swelled up, and he's on IVs and all that stuff. Now he says he's okay. He was going to come to the show tonight. I said, why don't you take the evening off? So.
Yeah. He'll be here with us later.
I just walked through the casino. There's a bunch of guys with that disease here.
Swollen necks.
Oh, yeah.
Bowed up, walking around like that's so special. Fight night tomorrow night,
That's right.
They're a little bowed up around there. You got to watch what you bump into. Donnie, you might need to have somebody walk you home.
Pacquiao and Marquez tomorrow night. Yeah, it's going to be good. Let's get our first guest out here. We've got lots of guests. Speaking of walking you home, we've tried to get this guy on for a couple of nights now, but he's been winning, and so we're just honored to have him.
No, we haven't been trying. You have.
Because
he deals us a lot of damn misery, I'm going to tell you.
It's going to be good. He is the 3-time world champion, and he's chasing Mr. H.R. Puff and stuff back here. Would you welcome 3-time world champion J.W. Harris is in the house.
Yes, I hadn't even heard that one yet.
Hello, J-Dub.
Hi, Joe.
Oh, boy.
You need some water? Your mouth dry?
No, but your head's going to be wet here in a minute. If you come with that, what I think you're going to say, I'm just going to go ahead and Donnie just pop the top, and if he comes with it, we got him, okay? Don't do it.
I don't know.
JW is a little jokesman, a little funny guy. And every year we look for him to come on our show because, number one, he rides bulls really well. And number two, he's chasing Donnie's record. And number three, he always comes up with this little cute saying. He says, I'd love to come to the Gay Beaver show. So before he had a chance tonight...
I thought it was kind of catchy.
Yeah, but it's caught on to all the other bull riders. That's the deal.
You know what's good about it? I've got a Twitter account, and I just tweeted that I was going on the Gay Beaver show. So now everybody that follows me on Twitter knows
you better ride all 10 bulls, because if I get one film of a wreck.
We'll wear it out now. Yeah.
Well, you came in here, this is your 7th time to the NFR, 3 world championships, and man, are you in the middle of this.
JW, I wouldn't have told that, though. I mean, something about having a Twitter account doesn't really seem real manly or anything. But
you got to remember, JW, he's way behind.
You're just jealous because you don't know how to operate them kind of machines.
All right. Well, that's just true.
You still got a rotary dial phone.
I still got a sock full of quarters to get it on the wall,
Are you done?
Yeah.
All right. So you come out here last night, you come into this deal second this year and win the round last night, move into first place, and a good night tonight. Just before we take a look at your work and stuff, tell me about your thoughts coming in here being the 3-time world champion.
I've got the same thoughts as I've had ever since I've ever dreamed of ever coming to the NFR, and I want to come out here on top. I don't show up at, whether it's Thousand Added Rodeo or the NFR, I don't show up to win second. And, I want to, in my long-term goal is I want to beat Donnie's record. And, you can't beat his record by winning second everywhere you go.
Well, I read something interesting about this and about you today, and I found this interesting, JW. It said in 2005, when you were just getting going, things weren't going well. You were thinking about maybe heading back to Texas, and so you can tell me. But you won the short go in Cheyenne.
I don't know where that story came from. I
think
Bob or Boyd probably made some
it up,
some of that crap up. I don't know where.
Well, we don't have enough time to listen to that one.
Yeah. No, I don't know where that came from, but
You did win the short go at Cheyenne.
Yeah, I did win the short go at Cheyenne, and on one of Jerry Nelson's bulls, and Jack of Diamonds, I believe, is what that bull was. And, and then it was like ever since then, I proved to myself that I can do this for a living and that I do belong in professional rodeo.
And you know in your heart, even though he's your biggest fan, you know that.
Oh, well, I mean.
He is.
He's the greatest bull rider that there has been. And, and you don't become an 8-time world champion by talking a lot. And so...
But after you win them, oh boy!
For a minute there, I thought he was going to be nice.
And
what was I thinking?
Only reason I want
he
to
is
beat
nice.
The only reason I want to beat his record is so I can go up to him and say, "Be quiet, 8-time. I'm however many."
I got you. He's off to a good start here, so let's take a look at him at work last night. It was a rough night in the bull riding last night, Donnie. Not a lot of guys covered their bulls, but boy, did JW. You guys can talk about it and take a look right here.
Let's go ahead and talk him through it, JW.
I've seen the bull once at Lewiston, and Cody Whitney got on him, and he rode him like 2 jumps. And then Jeff told me, the guy that owned him, Jeff Davis, he said he'd be right there into my office, and I told him I hate bulls into my hand. And I'd rather a bull go away from my hand any day. Just I feel like they're easier to ride than bulls going into your hand because there's a lot less moves.
That's absolutely the truth, and and I just called it lazy, because whenever you got one going and they're going away from your hand, if you're in time and making the kind of ride. Now watch what he has to do to get off. This is the trouble with having them going into your hand is having to wait and find a spot to get off. And you have to work a lot harder. If you're in the right spot when they're going away from your hand, you can get off anytime you want to. But trick is learning how to be able to position your body, your butt mainly, to be able to go. I always, when I got to riding like you're riding right now, I felt like if they didn't go end over end, I could ride them, and I know that's the way you feel.
Yeah, I mean, I don't believe that there's a bull out there that can throw me off, and and that's the way you got to be in this sport. You can't go in there thinking that, well, I've got the Bucking Bull of the Year tomorrow and I might have a chance. You got to go in there thinking, well, I've got the Bucking Bull of the Year and I'm fixing to win go-around on him.
Well, and you have to think that way. There's times whenever you're going to get bucked off. It don't matter what your name is. Bulls can't read your resume. You have to do it every time the gate opens. If they read your resume, I'd still be riding. But it doesn't work. I promise you. Trust me. But the thing about it is when you do get thrown off, you assess what happened, what you could have done better or worse, and then you, like a cornerback in the NFL, short memory, and go back and kick the next one's butt. The rest of it takes care of itself, and I think that's what I admire about JW. Tonight's bull ride that was really good, the way that bull was doing in the chute with you, because Butch and I were talking while you were trying to nod your head. Bull was squatting in the chute, and watch this ride he makes here tonight. Looked to the left and got too close to the wall, then decided to go back to the right. And I said when he turned back to the right, the bull just well tried to buck his tail off.
and that bull there, he's got a lot of timing because he kicks every jump. And, the bull's got 2 different trips. He'll either go right there in the gate, or he'll go that trip he had with me tonight. And he feels real good, but I don't think I've ever been on a bull in the buck and shoot that he had his feet sprawled out from the front side of the buck and shoot to the back side width-wise. I mean, he was just sprawled out, and he wasn't wanting to stand. And, and finally we got him to jump and kick in there, and then he kind of gathered himself.
That's when he about knocked your teeth out before you got started. And Butch says, doesn't the advantage swing to the bull right now? And I said, no, I think that just pissed JW off.
Yeah, well, he kept throwing his head up in there, and I was trying to climb out over him and go ahead, because he was standing pretty decent, and then he just threw his head up, and so I had to set back, try to get out of the way, and then that did really just kind of piss me off. I was like, dang, he's going to knock my teeth out before I even nod my head.
In watching it, you could tell that you were getting frustrated by it, but just before you nodded, you took a couple of deep breaths and said, just let's
and that's something that I've learned over, the years, is when things ain't going your way in the buck and shoot, you just might as well just stop, take a deep breath, and then go at him, because you can't get too worked up, especially here, and it's easy to do. And so, and I'll do that on every bull, is right before I slide up, I'll stop, take a deep breath, and then slide up there and go.
Tell us about whenever you got finished. I know as soon as you hit the ground, there's 47 reporters, and you got to go do all these interviews and stuff. But did you stop by in the locker room and tell us? Do you know anything about Seth Glaus? And I know Cannon is beat up a little bit, but he had some ice packs on, and actually said, he said, I really feel pretty decent, so I'm not worried about him. But I couldn't find anything out about Seth.
Well, there were some guys that come in there and saying that they were doing surgery on Seth in the sports medicine room at the arena.
Sewing him up?
Well, yeah, that, and straightening his nose out. He just broke his nose, and but he's going to be okay. I mean, it's a
little light running surgery, out back,
yeah.
No problem.
Bull riding.
That's bull riding. That's better. Now that's bull riding. The Twitter account I still don't know about. That right there is pretty tough.
And I want you to change gears here. His life has changed. He's become a father, and Aubrey is now waiting, and his wife Jackie. And how's that changed your life?
It's changed a little bit. I've got 2 kids now. I've got a 4-month-old little boy and then a 2-year-old girl. And, and I mean, it's my wife. She knows that I ride bulls for a living, and that's what pays the bills. So, we got to tend to business first. And, it makes it a little harder leaving home, but yet, like I said, that pays the bill. So I've got to go, and it's a lot of fun to get to. I mean, because whenever I grew up, my dad was still riding a little bit, and I enjoyed going to watch my dad ride bulls, and and he was my hero.
Didn't he win a circuit like in '89?
I think so.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
He won the Texas circuit. So yeah. Apple didn't fall very far from the tree. Yeah.
Well, everybody is after this guy, and we're honored every time he comes out here. And it's always the good news, bad news. If he wins, he can't come see us. So tonight he was a half a point away from winning again. Won 3 rounds last year. And
I think second still paid like $14,000. That's what I qualified for my first NFR. I won all year long. I think he won it tonight. 8 seconds.
Go ahead,
You
Joe.
also had 2 cans and a string for a phone, probably.
I was going to say that's when that Twitter account didn't mean nothing.
Yeah, exactly. What
How
was
about a
Twitter?
round of applause for J.W. Harris?
J.W. Harris, 3-time champ of the world.
Yes, sir.
Secretly, I think he likes it.
But it's a deep secret.
Hey, I was going to say, but it's a good kept one, isn't it, Dan?
Donnie, we've got some friends and special guests over here, and if you'd like to introduce there's Sam Dunn and everybody over there, if you want to go through the list and
well, I think we've got Andrew Bowers. We've got would you guys from the Seminole tribe? Would y'all stand up here tonight, Marcellus? Just
give these guys a hand.
Marcellus Osceola. I mean, friends of ours. These guys have been friends of Rodeo for many, many years. They've got a long-standing history, just great friends of ours. They've sponsored the Extreme Bulls. They've done the television for the National Finals Rodeo. They are the reasons that you've been watching the National Finals on GAC the last 2 years. So, round of applause for our
Tigers
friends.
Over there
Amos
as well.
Tigers back there.
Yep. Gordon
he's my Indian cowboy buddy,
Also,
we go way back. But
Sam Dunn
with the Extreme Bulls, Gordon Whitener, and I think David Sharp's back there.
Yep.
Yeah.
We appreciate those guys very much. Good to have you here with us this evening. Yep. And also, I see Dan Stark over there. The boss is over there, so acknowledge that guy right over there.
Don't do that. I'm
Donnie,
just going to brag on you.
Dan Stark is the one that put all this stuff together, the national finals tonight, and he's sitting over with a white hat on, the nice guy over there. We appreciate
did you notice Dan, he called everybody by name without walking to the edge of the stage this year? Them $600 glasses are working, baby.
Hey, buddy.
Last year he'd walk over here to make sure who he was talking about, and this year he just called it.
Somebody said, "Well, why don't you have just go to Walmart, get those $5 glasses?" And and I said this last night, but it's true. I mean, I got the magnification up so high. Whenever I go to read a program at an afternoon performance at a rodeo, it starts on fire. Peaches, my horse, didn't like it much.
A little bit of magnification there.
Yeah.
I forgot to tell you this. All the people that are here in our live audience, we want you after we're done tonight to stick around because we have such great prizes, including this guitar back here signed by George Strait and all things to give away for you. So when we're done, for the YouTube crowd and all the television crowd, stay with us and we'll give those prizes away. This next gentleman coming up, everybody is talking about this guy, and I don't care who it is, they're talking about his performances here. He just happens to be from Wyoming, from Meeteetse, Wyoming, but he is the, he is the three-time now, it's official as of
three-time
PRCA Bullfighter of the Year from Meeteetse, Wyoming. Dusty Tuckness is in the house. Dusty. Yes, sir.
Can you believe he's not limping at all?
Hey, Dan, and he's not very old to be a three-time champion.
Isn't it amazing?
That says something right there.
No, he's not very old because he come walking through here not limping. Youth is a wonderful thing, buddy. He's been hitting the butt way more than...
Thanks to Cody Whitney 5 times in 2 rounds.
Yeah. We should give you a chance to defend yourself because Cody Whitney was rough on you last night. You know?
Yeah, that's what he was saying in the locker room, but... that's Cody and J-Dub for you. I call them oil and water. They don't go together very good, but you ain't going to stop them, so you might as well just get used to it or do something different. So
no kidding.
Trying to get used to it.
I'm so glad to have you here. When I say Meeteetse, what's the population of Meeteetse if everybody's home? 200?
Yeah, maybe. Like I said, I don't know if they've changed the sign much at all, but it says, I don't know, about 350 or something.
What they need to change it to is home of 3-time world champion bullfighter Dusty Tuckness, Meeteetse, Wyoming. Yep. I want you to talk about this being in this third time. This has been an interesting year for Dusty because Daryl Diefenbach got hurt in Cheyenne this year, and so they called you in at the last second. That was a dream come true for you as well.
Yeah, I mean, everybody, whether you're ride, rope, fight bulls, any personnel category. I mean, everybody dreams of going to Cheyenne, and that's one rodeo. Growing up watching films and stuff, that's one rodeo that was always on everything. So, that's why they call him the daddy of them all. But yeah, I got the opportunity to go there. The good news is Daryl got to keep fighting bulls, and that's kind of the point that I wanted to make. I told him and Mike and even the committee I didn't want to come in and try to take anybody's job. I just want to make everybody happy, and it was just such a blessing to have the opportunity to go there. And it was awesome, one of the greatest rodeos, and I got to work with Daryl and Mike, and it was a fun week.
Talk about your fun weeks. You have everybody on the edge of their seat the last couple of nights, and when you talk about the cowboy saver, this is the guy. So I want to start, Donnie, we talked about this last night, and we saw him working last night. So guys, if you'll pull that up first, Mark, I want to take a look at some of the saves that Dusty did last night before we even get to tonight. So let's start with last night, round number 1. It's right up behind us, guys. It's not in front of us. There you go.
All right, well, here's Dusty, and we've got, I don't even know who that is, underneath him right there. Who are you saving right there, Dusty?
That was Bo Schroeder on Mission Accomplished.
The bullfighter's main objective is to offer themselves to the bull to let the cowboy get up and get away.
Here's that Whitney kid.
Here's Cody Whitney, and he said, I'm going to lay here until you get hooked in the butt. Yeah, now watch this. Yeah, okay. That'll leave a mark.
Well, right after that...
But this was cool, though. You didn't even lose your feet.
Right after that, I go up to Whitney, and I was like, really, dude? Really? And he looks at me and goes, I'm old, and then walks away. And I was like, man, all right. that happens.
And it didn't stop last night. tonight as well. We were watching and trying to keep notes. It seemed like every guy that came up, Dusty, you made a save too, and there were some. And maybe you know better. How is Seth Glaus? Did you?
Actually, he just called me when I was in the back here, and he did break his nose. He said, but they got that all fixed up and that, and I think he said sewed him up, so I think he's got a couple stitches.
Do you know if the horn hit him or did he get stepped on as the?
Yeah, I was asking J-Dub and Cannon a bunch of them, and they didn't know, but he said a horn. When he said he just kind of got relaxed, and that caused him to get jerked down underneath that bull's head, But he sounded good. I mean, he's going to be sore, but nothing a Wyoming boy can't
Well,
handle.
and he got a check, too. That'll help.
Amen.
Did that help? Let's take a look at his work from tonight. There are several different saves that you made
Now, there's
tonight.
one of these tonight that looked like it hurt like heck.
Yeah, it did.
Talk about it. Yeah, here you go. Oh.
That's Trevor Kastner.
I asked him if he got knocked out or stunned, and he said, "No, I just don't get up very good." And
Well, yeah, Trevor. This is a different
here
one
comes Artie Meyer with that cut hand. Now, this is one that looks like it hurts. Now, watch this. He's moving Artie out of the way, and then bang. If there was the other angle may show this horn.
I don't know if you want to see the other angle.
Okay, well, then watch this one. I mean, heck, you didn't stop it, too. You just get mucked out 3 or 4 times.
Yeah. That was a good night at the office is what I call that.
It is?
Yeah, it's fun when you got some excitement and some bulls and some guys that'll try. There's so much money here on the line for these guys and you don't expect them to get off very clean.
But you said that the muley, that actually hurt you worse than the horn.
Well, if that horn would have been about 2 inches a different direction, I think I'd be saying otherwise.
The muley looks a lot more fun to me than the horns.
Yeah, no, this one, it turned out all right, but...
I mean, they talk about firemen running into the fire instead of away from it. You just saw all 3 of those guys. Dusty won the race or, got unlucky, but he was actually the first one there. But, I mean, that's bang. That's just, he called that a love tap back there in the back.
Okay, I got a timed event question for that because me and Donnie, give me an opinion. Years ago, we watched a guy ride... And if you remember this at Northside at the Pro Tour one year, standing up above having a drink. He was a world champion cowboy, world champion bull rider, and he kept getting, and he hit like these guys now. There's 4 or 5 of them that hit like that.
It was Lane.
It was Lane Frost. And Donnie turned to me and he said, if that boy doesn't learn how to hit the ground, he's going to get killed. And that was in 1986 at Fort Worth, Texas. These guys, you can almost run them every night. There's the same 4 or 5, Donnie, that don't look like they know how to hit the ground or get up. If it wasn't for this man right here, there's 2 guys, 2 nights would not get on a 3rd bull.
That's true.
What is it? Why is there no? What's the deal with it? Because this man right here has saved.
Sometimes, like Trevor Kastner, he was. Everybody in the room has fallen down. Doing something at one point, and you kind of like a turtle on your back, and you just can't get up real quick, until you get rolled over. But the rest of the time, you ought to be able to, you can crawl, claw. It's really cool, to see a good save. But the bull rider is supposed to really try to take care of himself, and
That's what I'm getting at. It looks like there's 4 or 5.
But now these guys, everybody learns now. From mutton busting on to put on a vest and a helmet, and you think that that's going to keep you safe, which is the biggest bunch of baloney in the world.
Is that part of the reason, really and truly? Because they don't try to get. They
don't try to keep from getting a foot on you. And that was the only way that I thought a guy could really get hurt, just getting stepped on. So if I could keep a bull from stepping on me, then I could get to the next rodeo. I mean, we didn't win enough money to be able to. We didn't win $15,000 in 1 week to be able to take 2 weeks off. You had to win every week, to make the payments. You know that. And I learned that it doesn't do any good. It's kind of like fighting. It's better to make a good run than a bad stand. I mean, a little common sense goes a long way. You got to take care of yourself, and there are some times when you hit the ground. If it's you and the bull and the bullfighter can't get there. I mean, the bull's got to come over you before the bullfighter in a lot of instances. So to place all your faith on them. and put them in harm's way. It's really, I mean, it's just betting against the odds. But I think that the guys don't learn early enough that to be successful in the rodeo business, you got to be here a long time, or they don't remember who you are. And you have to learn how to protect yourself, because if you're always crippled, you're one of those guys that say, man, he could sure ride, but he just never could ever stay healthy. Well, that don't do you no good.
Well, we hope that Dusty's around for a long time. He's off to such a great start. I know you have family with you tonight. Dusty, tell us who's here and where they are.
I think they're sitting around them. There they are. They're waving.
Y'all stand up.
I'm not sure who's all here. My mom, my Mark, my stepdad, Mark, my brother, Will, and his wife, Bobby. And Joe and Sharon, I'm guessing, are here. I can't really see who else is there.
Well, y'all got a good one, I tell you that. He's done a lot for bullfighting in the rodeo industry, and he's a young champion. He's a good one.
Well, and he's a great representative for the state of Wyoming. Y'all are lucky to have him.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
Can't say that about everybody in the rodeo business.
If he wants to move to Texas, we'll take him over.
We'll take him, yeah.
And I want to tell you this morning... This morning at the breakfast, the guy that got up and gave the prayer to start the whole thing off was this young man as well. And so he's a good one. He's a good one. Dusty Tuckness, would you give him a hand? And would be good watching the rest of this. The rest of this. Donnie, we've got a good question that came in here. And
how many rodeos and how many bulls does a cowboy have to ride to get into the finals? About $50,000 or $60,000 worth. It depends on what you win and where you win it. I mean, you don't have to go to so many rodeos. Now, they have a limit on it, of which I am a harsh critic of. I think that if you win money, every rodeo that's approved by the association, if you're there and you win money, I don't care if it's at 8 o'clock in the morning or at 8 o'clock at night, points are to count. But that's a whole other story. But win enough money to be in the top 15 money winners, and it doesn't matter how many you can't. Like right now in the bull riding, 125 plus the extreme bulls is the maximum number.
75 in the team rope and the tie-down rope. And I went to 75 when I was in 8th grade.
And didn't miss any school. Much.
Not to count it.
Yeah, I mean, I average getting on at 160 rodeos a year for over 12 years. Getting on at 160 and was probably entered at an average of about 220. And so those 50 rodeos that I turned out at, most of them were in the slack, in the riding events.
I'm with you. Honest to goodness, when I was a senior in high school, I went to 262 rodeos. The next year, my limit was 100.
How many people besides Barack Obama work 75 days a year and make a living?
Boy.
Very few.
I don't personally know any of them that can make a living working 75 days or 125 days. You know, it makes it a little bit tough. To me, that's a great deal. I mean, but I may be a little slow. I still don't know how to have a Twitter account.
Hey,
but
if me and you had it, the Twitter would be out, and we'd still rodeo till October 31st, wouldn't it?
That's exactly right.
What I want to say, Donnie, that I think a lot of people don't know, I was doing a story once on Donnie, and I was interviewing Bob Tallman. And
that took some time, didn't it?
Yeah, it was a documentary. Anyway, we were talking about Donnie and the fact that, you know, now exactly what you're saying. Not very many rodeos, not as many. But Bob said to me, just in passing, he said, you know, I think I've seen Donnie Gay get on several thousand bulls. And I said, Bob, I don't think so. And he said, no. He said, I've been around Donnie when they were, and because Donnie's dad, they would ride amazing amount, and Joe was the same way. Hundreds and hundreds.
I mean, I see some of these guys griping about getting on two in one performance. My brother and I,
exactly.
My dad would bring in a load of bulls, 25 on a big truck, and weren't even tipped yet, that hadn't ever seen a human being, and they were 4 or 5 years old, big honking brindles, run them in the chute. And not only did we have to Pete and I have to get on all of them. I mean, I've been over on 35 or 6 bulls in a single day.
Yeah.
And we didn't have bullfighters. We had to flank them, open the chute gate, get off, get away, and then run the hook and sunbucks out of the arena and get on another one.
Yeah, but I'm going to tell you the difference.
But we loved it.
No, but
it was either that or clean the barn.
There's two differences, though. You got 8 gold buckles that say you earned it and you appreciate your practice and you learned a lot. And that getting up and getting out of the way and not relying on your bullfighters, that's where you learned that.
I always said, and this is probably a little bit of an overreach, but I didn't need a bullfighter. I mean, if I got bucked off and couldn't get out of the way, that's my own fault. And whenever I hang up to one, I'm going to get on my feet and I'm going to get my hand out of there myself because I'm trying
harder than they are.
I'm trying to keep the bull from stepping on me. And so I'm going to pull myself up, get my arm around his neck, my free arm, and push my hand out of the corner of that rope and then shut my eyes, scream, and run.
But it's a different deal, Dan. That's a good point. It's a different crew. That the practice, they don't practice. I mean, you've rode 35 bulls a day. Walter's turned out 100 head of calves a day, and I mean your hands bleeding. You don't quit. But it's a different day today. These kids, except for the next one.
Because I was just going to say the exception to that rule,
and that's why he's where he's at.
We're so excited to have this young man here, and we look at these guys, Dusty and JW. They're young men. The tradition moves on, and it is in the tie down.
It needs to move. You got to remember, people, me and Donnie, if we could still ride them and rope them, we wouldn't want the young kids. But we got to have the young kids bringing the rodeo up to the level we tried to get it to and to keep it there in progress, and these young guys do it.
It's not that they're not capable of doing some of the things that we did. Some of the things that we did, they don't need to do, obviously.
Sure was fun, though. Sure was fun.
But as long as they know where the bar's at and what you can do, and then it's up to them to figure out how to make that
It's like
better.
JW trying to win 9. Corey's going to try to win 8 or 9 more. I mean, that's what they're supposed to do.
That's what they're supposed to do.
This young man is 22, and he is a rising star, and we're glad to have him here. Would you welcome Corey Solomon is in the house, this young man. There he is.
Corey's sitting there going, man, I didn't think it was ever going to shut up.
Corey, we're so glad to have you here, and actually had a birthday waiting back there to come out here. But by golly, this young man is, you can see on his shirt, it says God first. Let God. And this is another man that everybody is talking about, not only because of your skill in the arena, Corey, but because of your work ethic. And I know in reading about you today, that comes from your parents. Talk about your parents.
Yes, sir. My parents raised me to, work for what I get. Nothing against the kids that have everything given to them. I had to work for what I have, I had to win to go. I didn't have money just sitting in a bank account and say, here you go. Go have fun with it. Whatever you do, that's what you do. I worked at everything I have, from horses, to just being able to go down the road. But I thank God for giving me the work ethic, and nothing was given to me, but I thank God where I am now.
It started when he was about 6 or 7 years old. How was you when you had that pony riding around everywhere?
I started roping on her when I was 5.
So you was probably 6 about then. Yes. And he had a little pony hauled around there where his dad and his brothers and him, they got time event cattle down there. They got roping calves. They keep 200 or 300 head all the time. Every weekend, you'll pass a Solomon rig going different directions with time event cattle. So when Corey was little bitty, he was everywhere at all the ropings. He watched so many guys rope, and he untied so many calves when he was little that when he got the chance to rope and step it up, he knew what he wanted to do, and his work ethic, y'all, is unbelievable. I see a lot of kids, and I run 900 head through my schools a year, and I see about 10 with the real work ethic. This guy here's got it. Last year before the finals, it was raining and nasty, and I got a building. And he run 47, I don't know if you run that many. He run 47 head of calves and never took a deep breath except when he threw his hands up to look at me and say, Joe B, what I need to change on that. And we run 47 head of calves in an hour and 7 minutes.
That's
my wife has witnessed how she said, that's the first time I've seen anybody practice wanting to win a gold buckle since you, Fred, Cody, and y'all's group of guys.
That is really hard to believe because we bought a fresh set of calves and a lot of guys were going to come tie them down. Well, they didn't show up, and so we had to get them tied. And one of the calf ropers was there. I mean, after about 20, he was getting tired, so I said, well, let me tie down a few of them. So I tied down on the 4th calf. I said, man, I remember why I rode bulls for a living. My God. I mean, I said, somebody else going to have to tie the rest of these dudes, but I got them tied down. But just, it's you got to be in shape and want to do it. But
harder you work, the
I was
luckier you
raised
get.
exactly the same way you were. My daddy, when I left high school, I had $400 that my grandmother had. She had gave Pete $400, and she had a savings account and a treasury bond, and we split it. And I got $400. And my dad said, "Well, you know, you ought to do pretty good." He said, "But if you get hurt or if you get sick, you can call me and I'll come get you. But if you just get broke, I already got a job. You get you one."
A father's
And I
love.
mean, I had a kid
That's
ask
right.
me, he said, "Hey, can you help me get a sponsor?" And I said, "What for?" He said, "Well, you know." And I went, "What for?" And he said, "Well, to get down the road." And I said, "If you can't win enough to get down the road, get a job."
What did I tell you? This man right here, y'all, when he first cracked out, this is 3 years ago, Corey. 3 years ago. You know, he come to me and we were talking about going, and he's got a brother named Lawrence and Kojak, and they've been like family my whole life with them. I've known all the kids since they grew up. And I said, "Corey, do two things. Go rope the way you know how and be who you are, and the sponsors will come to you." Because you don't find many kids like this that's this good a kid that ropes that good also. And there's people out there that will come to you and help you, and they've showed up, hadn't they?
Yes, sir.
Let's take a look at you at work. Let's take a look last night. It was a frustrating night for you, but you got it done, and then tonight. So let's take a look.
Is this last
This
night?
is last night first,
Okay,
Joe.
go ahead.
Well, this year I started out on a new horse. I've been riding him for about a month and a half. I was blessed to get him, but you can ride these horses at different events, and you know, coming here is a different event. Like, I know he was a good horse, but riding him here the first round, it was just a little question: was he gonna be as good as he been? And I had my ropes a little bit longer than I use them, but I roped, and when I got off right there, you know, I just didn't get a very good go. And once I got to it, if you rope calves in, once you get to it, your flank starts your tie. And I didn't get a very good flank, and it just messed up my tie. So last night I went back and put it on slow motion and went back to the drawing board. And tonight I shortened up some things, and it worked out. I didn't draw the best, but it's turning around.
Well, you made a good run. But here's the deal what he's talking about, people, and I say it every night, and people don't realize it. You jerk a calf down, it costs you money. Unless you put him on his side, like you just lay one down on the table, he'll stand right back up. But Corey, when he roped that calf that night, he used one of the shortest ropes in the business. It's because he's fast, he's athletic, he knows how to run close. My loop was as big as long as his whole rope. You know, I mean, I use a gate. But last night, when he's so quick, when he roped him and got ahead of his slack, you watch a calf come up and it balls him up. Well, he don't want that. You know, they talk about jerking him down. Corey don't want to jerk him down. Well, then he comes back tonight and has one down to win first, second, third in the round, and she strains and she kicks a little bit, pushes, but being the smarter roper that he is now compared to when he was a kid, you tie him down, you're 8'2", you're still in the roping, you know.
Let's take a look at tonight's while they're talking there. Go ahead, Corey.
Watch your shorter rope and go.
Well, right here, it started on a shorter rope. As right there when I rope her, it's already tight. So when I get to her, things already standing. When I string her and I cross right there, I knew I had a chance to be short 7, but we all get caught up in getting the fame every night. But come next Saturday night, it pays a whole lot more than, letting one get up tonight. So I just mashed it down, and just the run felt good and confidence, to come back tomorrow.
Well, you said a while ago, what'd you say, sets up a good tie, a good flank?
Yes,
y'all see that? This kid's not very big. My wife says hugging Corey is like hugging a stone statue. He's that hard, and he is. I mean, you don't catch a calf weighs 240 in the air like that being Corey Solomon's size. Watch his calf when he jumps. He never hits the ground again. You see that? He's flanked. So he got a good flank, sets up a good tie. This calf is pushing right there. He's got his head up fighting, but when you're that strong and that quick and that smart with your string, you tie 1 and 8-2, you're all right.
What I like so much about this is, these guys are just seeing this for the first time, but Joe has watched the entire 15 both nights, and he can tell you exactly what he did because he has the vision in his mind. That's why, and that's how you become a world champion.
I'd like you guys to all stay right here and bring out these other two gentlemen that just showed up because our time is getting away, and I know they have some things that they'd like to say about Corey as well. But the two best announcers in the world of rodeo are here this evening, and would you welcome Boyd Polhamus and Bob Tallman, the humble servants of the world of rodeo. Gentlemen, come on in. Yes.
The new announcer of the year again, Mr. Boyd.
Yes, sir.
Oh, you got the skinny kid here.
You're talking about Donnie? Sit down here, Bob. You can sit by Donnie there. Have a seat right there.
Where are you going to sit,
I'm
big guy?
right over your shoulder. And so I want you two to talk about this young man as well. And we can talk about the tie-down roping as well, Boyd. But
I met his dad tonight.
Any cool?
Is Larry here?
No, he got caught up. He was coming, but he.
All right, you two write that down. All right. Well, Lawrence, they make it? Anybody? Rich?
Yeah, Rich
is over here. Rich is right-hand man. Well, he's got a good daddy, don't he?
I'll tell you what I told his dad when I met him. I said, I don't know you very well, but if you can judge a father by the type of son that he raises, you're a hell of a man.
3 of them.
Yeah.
He's got 3 of them, and I'm telling you, they're all good ones.
Pretty dang awesome. Yeah. First time I saw this kid was 3 years ago. How old are you tonight?
22.
He would have been 19 years old. We're at a little Wild West rodeo in Plains, Montana. Big arena. And big calves. And just big, fresh everything.
The women do, right, Bobby?
I was waiting to see how many ladies cackled on that. I watched him flank a 260-pound calf one-handed. Right-handed. He knew where to get him and make it work. And its lights aren't real good there. Middle of BFE, you know. Great place. But I saw him flank this calf one-handed, and then he just kind of smoked him like Jim Bob Altizer used to do in the 50s and 60s. And smoked him. And I went, One of them things make you go, Then I got to meet his daddy and his brothers. And last summer was pretty special this spring at the Bubblegum Roping at Denton, Texas. It's pretty cool where they come from, what they've done. And nobody gives them nothing. Tell them about that bumper sticker you saw.
Well, I'm coming back from Houston one night, driving back to Brenham, and he lives in Prairie View, so we're neighbors. Which I do have to wonder because both his mom and dad work at Prairie View A&M, and he went to school somewhere else, so he's got some explaining to do there. But I'm coming back, and I can see a truck and trailer up in front of me, and as I'm driving up, I look at the back of the trailer, and most, the Cowboys trailers are, decorated with sponsors galore, right? Sponsor here, sponsor there. And as I'm coming up, the only sign I can see is on the back of the trailer. And so I read it, and it says, "Thanks, Mom and Dad." And when I drive up to see who's driving it, he's driving it. And that told me all I needed to know about Corey Solomon.
I am about 5% out of 100 as good as Boyd is at quoting the Bible. He's got a magnificent memory. And there's a whole lot of Jesus sitting up here. And we talk about what he does. Tuffy's got Jesus, he's got faith. Shane Hanchy, the 3 of them.
He's got LSU.
Tiger turd. So, y'all
it's
okay?
Tallman, y'all. Get used to it.
Yeah. He got on me tonight about the cow that died 20 years ago. Anyway, it's these little things that are magnificently big in people your age in your life. And see on his collar, that's a $30,000 spot. That's what that's worth on his collar. Right chest, left chest. That's we talk about our shirts. We're proud to have Boyd Gaming on them. And what they give up in order to get, it says God first, let go, let God. You got to find a place to put on there more about him, less about me. But when you get around these guys, him, Shane Hanchy, and Young Tough, and the rest of them, and they tweet, they do all that stuff, but they watch videos. I'll get a text at 2 o'clock in the morning someplace, and hey, old man, hey, something else. They'll have
a lot of hey, old man, though. That's usually, you get a lot
question.
more of that.
Their consideration for my age and need for sleep isn't real good. But I want to tell you something.
He's been griping about that since I was 19.
Joe never texted. He just showed up. He didn't have a key to tear the door down and tell me to get over and split the sheets. But when you think about the creatures that they are, they're in captivity. They don't have any life because they either think it, eat it, drink it, drive it, live it 24/7. Whenever you meet one of these young people like this, they are the bridge, the crossover, the next generation change. don't give them a hand. Give them a handshake. And anytime you can help them up, please do it because they deserve to get it.
I just think about where our society is really. And I mean, I don't want to get political, but I look at it and I think of the kids today that I see, and I wonder, man, what kind of role model do you have, and what are you going to be? And then all of a sudden, they're flipping through the channels. They come across Great American Country, and all of a sudden, here's this guy. He's a young, athletic, good-looking young man, and he's chosen to put faith or Jesus on his collar. And I'm like, boy, if we had a lot more of that, you know, in professional sports and other places, wouldn't we be living in a better place too, you know?
When people see that, and, you know, you say, do you have a girlfriend? What are you thinking about that kind of social life stuff? These guys are almost too busy to have girlfriends. But I'll tell you what.
Unless they got a lot of money to buy a good horse. Don't ever forget that.
Or they drive real well.
The thing about these kind of kids, the kind of girl they're going to bring home to dinner, you're going to be welcome in anybody's house anytime. So if you're thinking about chasing that cat, you better have on a knee-high dress, no miniskirt, because they don't mind looking, but I know they ain't going to chase you unless you fall down.
That's probably going to get another one of those, hey, old man.
Corey's like, hey, Bob, with all due respect, I'll pick him.
I love you, but be quiet.
Joe, before you guys got here, we took a look at Cliff Cooper's run tonight. And so I want Joe to say in front of you two about which Cooper he likes to rope in and just see what changed tonight. But first say that, Joe, to these guys.
I say it every time. I mean, Tough gets my hat off. He's a great competitor. He's a world champion. But the one Cooper that has not peaked yet is in the wings, is Cliff Cooper. When he gets to his game and when he realizes he fits and he's his own game, this guy's got a bag of tricks. He is one of the toughest guys roping today.
There he is right there.
And classic middle kid syndrome. You know, you got older brother Clint that's been here 3 times. Younger brother Tough, who's got this $1 million smile. Right? Here's the guy that got married in the Bahamas and got a wife and a child already, right?
Drives his rig around, goes with his family, eases around. I mean,
nothing flamboyant really, except that he never is a stranger to you. When you walk down him in the Thomas and Mack, you see him in the moat, he always stops and speaks to you. But here's what I see in Cliff Cooper. I see a kid who's no longer Clint's younger brother or Tough's older brother.
He proved it tonight.
He's his own man.
When he turned around the box tonight, I told him, I said, Cliff, be what we talked about. About 2-3 weeks ago, how long, Jenna? 3 weeks? I get a text, like you said, about 10 o'clock one night. And
say, hey, old man?
No. He said, hey, old man, this is Cliffy. I need to talk to you. So I texted him back, and I said, what's up? He said, what I got to do, Joe, be to change and get out of the rut of just being a roper and just placing. And I said, first thing you got to do is quit thinking that. Because, 2 years in a row, 1 year he was hurt this year. Last year he didn't have nothing won. He makes the finals from June till September. First of all, everybody can't do that. So I said, okay, Cliffy, I got 2 words for you because your dad taught you to rope. Your dad's a world champion. He's helped me. He's helped, I'm not. I said, but I want to tell you 2 things. You need a bigger loop and you got to have more confidence. Because the Thomas and Mack is who gets it on them the fastest and who doesn't make the mistakes wins the most.
Hello, Cody O.
Well, tonight,
once you get on him, use right. You typically
tonight he makes his run. I go outside to get in the cab line, and who's in front of me but Super Looper? So me and Cooper getting in the cab, and he said, "Hey, God damn it!" I said, "What, Coop?" He said, "You know what Cliff tells me the day in the practice pen?" I said, "What?" He said, "Her dad, Joe B said I need to get a bigger loop and throw faster." He said, "I've been telling him that for 10 years." I said, "Sometimes you got to hear it from somebody else." That's all
Can you imagine? I'm so glad that I had a daughter because the only thing that I knew for certain that I wasn't going to let her do was ride bulls, And I mean to have 2 brothers, your daddy being the 8-time world champion and revolutionizing calf roping, and that's the only advantage that you got over them boys. But I tell you, that's a big deal. Marvin Shoulders, Jim Shoulders' son. I don't know how good he was, but I know he was, he rode 9 out of 10, won the NFR in 1973.
And I bet they compared him to Jim then, too.
Well, everything he did was, Marvin made a hell of a ride, but, you already seen his daddy at New York, and that
And these boys get it, they get it, too.
They still get it.
Yeah. Newspapers cannot do an interview.
We always talk about Roy Cooper, don't we?
Yeah. Well, interview. You never see an interview that says, you know, you can, you know how it is. You've done 1 million interviews, so have you. Once that tape cuts off, they write what they want. And very seldom do you ever see an interview that says about Cliff, Tuff, or Clint without throwing Roy in the mix. Now, that's nobody's fault that Roy did it, but that's hard on them boys. And those boys have all three stepped up to the occasion.
They haven't used it as an excuse, and that's what I like about it.
And what's hard on Donnie is that Tally can whip his butt on the golf course. She can golf, and he can't keep up, and it bothers him.
Where'd that come from? He just after you tonight,
but Boyd loves me, you know.
I do, because you got like this big kick me sign on you, you know. You're like 4'2" on a chair. Your last name indicates that you're kind of gender confused, and there's just
hey, that stuff on the chair deal. I watched him one night at the Cow Palace in the bar downstairs. He got on a chair like this so he could reach eye to eye to whack a guy, and whacked him. This guy right here, right in the snoot.
Trying to get on your chair again.
Fred Larson. I mean, and this guy can reach up.
What's that song about alcohol? Make you do that?
No, he
Brad Paisley, yeah.
He wasn't drinking.
When I done that, I was trying to get in the bar to get one. I wasn't old enough, and he wasn't going to let me. He was the bouncer.
He had to whip the bouncer to get in. And he was an FBI guy. This thing about daughters, you know, of having daughters is a cool deal. I had a daughter. He had a daughter. And if things don't start happening pretty soon in the time clock of life, he might not have any grandkids, and I got 2. Twins, a boy and a girl. The safest thing that I know about it is that I'll always have a veterinarian around because she's 5. She wants to be a doctor of veterinary medicine, and my grandson is left-handed, can't rope, okay? Don't even want to teach him. How much money that saves Grandpa on all that other stuff. So I'm saying if they never, ever want to rope or do that horse deal and all that, money in Grandpa's pocket. Saving it.
Hey, wait a minute. Send it to Corey because he wants it. Didn't he say something about helping people?
Yes, sir.
All right, now, get that old text.
Put your money where your mouth
Help me, old man.
Hey, I am helping Corey, but it's Corey Ross, not Corey Solomon. Yeah.
Isn't this a good show? I just sit here every night. Would you give these guys a hand up here on the stage? And Corey Solomon, stay right there if you will. Pay off this young man. We're glad that he is here this evening. Boyd Palamas, Joe Beaver, Corey Solomon, Donnie Gay, and Bob Tallman. All of them, the absolute best.
I just think he's such a nice fellow because he sits here with a smile on his face, suffering us old guys. You know, that's good.
If he was saying what he's thinking, that would probably be it. Yeah.
Hey, Rich is already out back with a truck running. Save me, save me.
We're going to say goodbye to our group on YouTube right now and our television audience, and we thank them for watching National Finals tonight. So if everybody in the audience will give them a round of applause, we'll say goodbye to them, and we'll give away some prizes here. So for us from Night 2 from Boyd Gaming, good night from National Finals tonight.
Let's ride.
Thank you for watching and attending the show. We hope you enjoyed the presentation of National Finals tonight at the Gold Coast, where all the cowboys go after the rodeo. We look forward to seeing you again tomorrow, same time, same place. This has been a presentation of Boyd Gaming. The fun isn't over yet. We invite you to head upstairs for Gary LeFew's legendary Buck and Ball. Live music from the Texas Jam Band featuring members of George Strait's Ace in the Hole Band and local favorite Scotty Alexander. Beer and drink specials, and best of all, no cover charge. We're gonna dance and party till the cows come home at the Buck and Ball.
Rodeo is what I do. If I hang on tight, I make a buck or 2. It's what I do. It's what I do. It's what I do.